Hello everybody and welcome to Performance on Wheels. My name is Austin and this is my dad Todd. We make all types of different car videos. Today we are going to be doing a full-on review, walk around, check out the interior of the brand new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus. Before we get too far into the video, I need to give a huge shout out to Apple Autos for giving us the opportunity to check out this 2024 Lincoln Nautilus. We are currently standing in the delivery bay of their brand new dealership facility here in Apple Valley, Minnesota. This beautiful facility is now open to all Lincoln customers. It is a huge upscale to pretty much anyone that has a Lincoln, whether they're coming in for service, whether they're coming in to purchase a new Lincoln. This is an amazing facility. So be sure to check out the link down in the description below to come in and test drive and see the all-new Nautilus in person.
Austin and I will get into the things we like about this awesome ground-up transformation of the 2024 Lincoln Nautilus in just a moment, but let's just go over the very brief history on the Nautilus. Where did it come from? Back in 2019, it was actually rebranded from the MKX and it turned into the Nautilus. In 2021, there was a pretty dramatic facelift of the Nautilus, and that brings us 2024, the third generation Lincoln Nautilus. Now, there are almost 100% new items, but one thing that isn't new is the C2 platform. It is just revised. So ultimately, we're talking about a similar platform, which goes all the way back to 2018 on vehicles like the Ford Focus. And there's some pretty hot vehicles that Ford has in their lineup currently, like the Maverick or Bronco Sport, that also share this platform. But the Nautilus is truly a ground up, all new sheet metal, all new redesign, and let's get into the details of what we observe.
The Nautilus that we are looking at today is a Nautilus Black Label, the highest of the high trims at $79,395. Pretty pricey, this Nautilus here. Yeah, it's pretty expensive vehicle in this size, this class. And it is finished in Blue Panther Metallic. This color, after we just unwrapped it, if you didn't get to see us unwrap it, be sure to check out the video up in the corner. This color looks amazing under this lighting. Lots of like, I don't know how you describe it, maybe like metal or silver flake.
I mean, it says metallic right in the color,
it's pretty cool. Then we have the Chalet Viridian interior, which is this like white leather. Looks absolutely amazing.
Yeah, for sure. And what's important here with the Black Label, looking at the front, all three of the trims of the Nautilus will have different grills, kind of a different front fascia. And then there's just like some differences that you go from a 19-inch up to a 22-inch that as we go around the Nautilus, we will point out. But what is fun is pointing out the like cool logo, the whole startup feature, which you guys are seeing here. It looks pretty darn good. Like,
yeah, it's definitely very
fun, right?
unique. It makes a statement walking up to it or walking away from it. It's really cool looking.
It definitely does.
And it's also cool that like this is legal now in our country. Like we can legally drive down the road with this large running light on with the logo lit up. Like it's really, really cool looking.
And it's definitely making a statement, and it's something that we're starting to see on more vehicles, but it is making the Lincoln stand out from the crowd. I love how the fact that the turn signals are actually integrated in with the front headlights. And those headlights themselves are pretty awesome as well. There's 3 squares, they all light up, and I think they're gonna have a really distinctive look driving down the road. And if I remember correctly, this is similar to what the Navigator looks like as far as having those squares behind you. And obviously the beautiful Lincoln star, like that stands out, and it's awesome that it's illuminated here.
Yeah, and talking about the headlights, once again, the adaptive headlights that the Black Label features are fantastic. They turn with the wheel, they move wherever you need to go. Really, really great design. And I must admit, the grill, I know we get 3 different grills between the 3. The grill on the Black Label looks amazing. It looks fantastic. There's even like the center of it is like a vent for cooling, and the outside of it is like plastic around it, but it looks really, really good. It looks very high end. I love the like gloss or texture that they used on there. They also did a really good job of integrating the safety sensors into the front end.
As we transition onto the side of the Nautilus, it's important to bring up the Aviator that came out a few years ago. The Aviator was all about aviation and the quietness, the peacefulness of flying through the air, a quiet flight. Well, with the Nautilus, we're more on the gliding concept, still that luxury and elegance of just being in a third space, but gliding lighting. And they do that with the headlights and taillights, which is kind of neat. So on the front end, it's the upswing of the bird. And as you go up, follow the body line and go around to the back of the taillights, it's that down swoosh that provides the glide. So as you transition and look at the side of the Nautilus, which is very similar to the Aviator, and I like the fact that they did this, where you have a broader opening on the windows by the driver and passenger, and as you go backwards, that gets narrower. It's not only that, but they also throw this awesome black roof that combines with the different color. Now this is cool, but there's also another step up where you can get the jet package, a $3,000 option that makes a two-tone paint. With that really dark black roof, it actually makes the Nautilus look lower than it is. Speaking of size, this new 2024 Nautilus is actually a little bit bigger than the previous model. We're about 2 inches taller. We're about an inch wider, and we're about 2 inches longer. That wheelbase is just a smidge different as well. There's a lot of the fun design elements that remain the same and that are just kind of the new trademark designs of Lincoln. Love the like segregated LED lights in the blinker there. I love the fact that they brought up the inline door handles that we saw in the 2007 Lincoln Continental. That like kind of electronic door handle works very well, looks great. As we go around to the back, this is where Austin's going to take over and tell you his thoughts.
First up, let's talk about the wheels. Now, this one being the Black Label, we do have the upgraded 22-inch wheels, and all of the wheel options across all of the models of Nautilus have kind of that same glide design where it kind of flies through the air. Now, I must admit, I can't be positive about everything on the Nautilus, and I think talking to a few friends as well, there might have to be some wheel options in your future if you were going to pursue a Nautilus. These look much better on the computer than they do in person, in my opinion. They're just, they're not the prettiest wheel around, in my opinion. They're not my style, to say the least. Now, what I do like about the back of the Nautilus here is one of the things that makes it look very elegant, very smooth, is the integrated windshield wiper into the top spoiler. Obviously, it leaves a very clean design back here. There's absolutely nothing that is in the way or protruding out of the windscreen because it's all hidden up inside of this rear wing. Makes it look very nice and high-end. Something else that's pretty cool about the Nautilus that is kind of also a hint at the future is if we look under the back end of the Nautilus, or we just look at the back of the Nautilus, you can't see any exhaust or even fake tips, which means they both turn down before the back of the bumper, which gives us an idea or a hint at possible future hybrid or electrification. Let's start hopping inside of the Nautilus, starting off with the trunk.
Start with the boring side first.
Yeah, let's simply just tap the trunk button here. Of course, we have a power trunk. And here we are on the inside of the Nautilus, and it is quite roomy back here. I'm pretty impressed. Lots of space to put things. We open up this little covey back here. We do have a donut spare tire. Other than that, it's pretty basic back here.
Carpet.
Yeah, the chocolate carpet's cool. Very unique compared to just black that you see in so many other vehicles. We don't have power fold up second row, but we can easily press these buttons here to quickly fold down our second row, which gives us more trunk space than you're probably ever going to need. So very, very roomy back here. Pretty basic. There's nothing too special going on in reality.
The one thing that stands out to me is the fact that we do have that like slouching roof line in the back. So obviously your clearance here is going to be a little less than some of the competitors that are more boxed off on the rear end. But yeah, this starts to give us a hint on the luxury when I even just see the headliner here. So let's get up front and see what's all new. We'll have to get Austin up front to show us the highlight of the all new tech in the Nautilus. Just a second. I do like this. This is on all four doors, and to me, if you're looking back at it from an angle, it's almost like the claw marks of Wolverine. They turn red when you open the door, and then they're white or ambient lighting when the doors are closed inside here. You can actually see up front right now if Austin's doing that on the camera. Love the speaker grill. So obviously we're in like the 28 speaker, I think it is, because we're in that Black Label. So 28 speakers. I believe the standard is right around 10 speakers. But look at this. Here we are. We're back here. I can see that roof, that sloping roof line that I almost am starting to feel a little claustrophobic just because my head is close. I'm not touching being 6 feet tall, but my head is close back here. Knowing that we have this like bright white leather, it really opens up the space from the back seat. The sitting position is slightly awkward, I'm not going to lie. I do have plenty of leg room. The front seat is where I'm comfortable up there. I do have some heated seat options and really nice to look at. But ultimately, just knowing I have a little minimal recline, the seats aren't as comfortable as I was hoping. Before we have Austin show us the highlight of the Nautilus, let's not forget to point out just a few subtle things. We have a nice little cubby down here, a little pocket. We do have two USB-Cs on each side. We also, as mentioned, have those heated seats. We have a couple vents. This bronze color, although I like the color, I don't know that it jives too well. It does feel to be a little bit cheap. And then we have our armrest. And again, I was just expecting a little bit more from Lincoln, being at the $80,000 mark in the rear seat of the Nautilus with just, what is this? And then our cup holders, obviously they serve their purpose. There's just a lot of those details back here that I would just strive for a little more. I will say the highlight is that right there, the door panel and the black label. Looks incredible.
Hopping in up front of the new Lincoln Nautilus. Now, something that's kind of cool about those door handles is those are actually shared with the Mustang Mach-E. That's where those originally came from. So those are Mustang Mach-E door handles, if you guys are curious where that design came from. All in all, up here, I'm not seeing any buttons that are really shared with any other Ford products, actually, which is kind of impressive. These turn signal stocks we see on some other Lincolns. The lock and unlock button on the passenger and driver side are shared with a lot of different Fords. But all in all, like, all of the controls, they put like different accents and different touches on, which make it kind of feel a little bit different than most other Ford and Lincoln products. I'm going to go ahead and throw it in an accessory here since we're sitting inside, and it lights up with what is the newest tech in Lincoln right here. We are now powered, very similar to Chevy. This is powered off of Google. So this is an entirely Google used interface, so kind of similar to an Android or very high-end Android system that we have inside of this thing, which is very nice. We have a power telescoping steering wheel, which is an oval shape. And I must admit, it's very comfortable in the hands. It's very, very cool feeling. I like the way that the leather feels around this oval steering wheel. And with these buttons on the back, it gives you kind of a nice spot to rest your fingers on the back end. These buttons do feel a little bit out of place and kind of cheap, but it is nice that it, like if we roll our finger across it, it does give us an animation of where our finger is at up on the dash there, which is pretty slick. And it does that for both sides as well. Now, this entire interface here is entirely customizable. You can do whatever that you want with it, and it is truly amazing. Some people will say it's distracting. I personally quite like it, and I think it brings some elegance to the interior of this Nautilus here. If we actually press this button right down here on the display, it makes it very easy to put whatever we want up on the dash here. For example, I currently have my music, my trip, and my tire pressure up there, but say I want my weather in this corner, I want the clock right over here in the middle. Sorry, it was asking me for share locations, brand new car. Then I want my fuel economy over there. Or say I want to swap them around there and there. Tons of customizability. You can do whatever you want up on this screen. And then you can just simply say, hey, Google. It's not set up in here yet. Oh, it actually is. Look at that. And of course, this entire system can run off of all types of different Google commands. And then we do, of course, have heated, cooled seats, heated steering wheel, massaging seats for driver and passenger. Very comfortable place to be. One of the things that I do really like about the interior here is their choice of wood that they used throughout. Very high-end looking, very high-end feeling, and it brings some elegance and brightness to the interior. That bronze trim that we showed you in the back, we see quite a bit more of that up front. It does pair well with the chalet interior. It does look quite good wrapped around kind of these handles up on the dash. I have a feeling that this over time is going to start looking a little bit cheap, but as of right now, it does look pretty good. This rolling panel here gives it a nice touch of physical activity. One of the things that I would like to see that we don't see in here is physical climate control buttons. All climate control is done through the display. Just takes a few more steps to get things done, and I personally like just being able to press it. I do like the way that they integrated some of the buttons onto the dash though. Like for example, our drive mode buttons or camera buttons, hazards, self-parking, stuff like that. They're nice looking buttons. You would think looking at them that they're dials that you click up and down, but you actually just press them in. Same thing with the heated seat buttons and back. They look like you'd flip them up and down like in some other Lincoln models, but they're just pressing buttons. I actually really like the way that this glove box feels, opening and closing. It's kind of high quality. Unlike in some other Lincoln models though, we don't have individually moving armrests. It is just one large armrest, but it is split in the middle still, so kind of interesting there. The seats are very familiar. We see a very similar design in other Lincoln models, but all in all, the interior is very superior up front than in back here in the Nautilus. Very high-end feeling. The tech is unbelievable. The best out of any Ford product ever, the best out of any Lincoln ever, and probably one of the top tech vehicles that's out right now. It is that good. I also forgot to mention the crystal ball shifter, or not really the shifter, the crystal ball for like our volume control and audio control for the sound system. Feels very high end, feels very nice. Another thing that does feel very high end, which doesn't feel high end in a lot of other cars, is this top control panel here to control our sunroof, for our lights up top. It just feels really high end, very nice, and wrapped around that entire thing is white Alcantara, which is pretty unique.
As we get towards the end of this video, it's important to just highlight the fact how much different this Lincoln Nautilus is than its close cousin, which used to be the Ford Edge. There are so many things, whether we're talking about the 24-way massage seats or the 3 different fragrance options that you can get in the armrest that shoot this amazing fragrance into the air, just making your luxury experience all the more that enjoyable. Now, we have to talk powertrain real quick. 2-liter 4-cylinder. So we have the 2-liter 4-cylinder, slightly modified from previous years. Very common motor that's being used in Ford's lineup currently. Obviously, we're talking Lincoln. So they are going to make a 2-liter hybrid, which that would be a little bit different, something new. 310 horsepower that will have. Your 2-liter gas motor is going to be very similar numbers to the previous generation. However, highway fuel economy is projected to be up into the 29 mile per gallon range, while in the city you can expect right around 22 miles per gallon. All in all, we have another luxury SUV option out there on the market, making this Lincoln Nautilus worth looking at. Thank you for tuning into the video today on Performance on Wheels. Make sure you check out some of our other videos. Follow this father-son journey along on Performance on Wheels. Hit like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.